Welcome back. All right, folks. I believe today marks the beginning, for me, hopefully going to be able to get a lot done in my series of Ironsworn Starforged Vaults of Vaarn. And I want to welcome you guys back. For me, it's been a bit. And I got my trusty tea and my music, and of course Ardel Santos traveling through the Cerulean Maw within the sands of Vaarn. And today we're going to sort of recap a little bit on what's been going on, and then continue from there. So we had Ardel travel from his home, an archaeology, actually, way down here, called Vault, V-U-L-T, not to be confused with Vault. And he was exiled effectively because he had a nanomachine growth on his forehead that gave him firebrand-like powers to control fire and the like. And the only way that he could start to regain the trust of his enclosed and sealed off community of true kin humans was to go out and find his first actual quest, or rather he was exiled, but he was told to find a archives of books that we have established down the road that does exist somewhere. There is an archive of books somewhere within the Cerulean Maw. So somewhere within this map, there is going to be an archive that will be generated, and it will have books somewhere. Whether Ardel happens to find it or be able to get there is a different story altogether. And then he travels to an archive that he thought would contain books, but ended up containing nothing but empty art gallery pieces and stuff. And it was completely decimated and looted and completely wiped out. But not from looters, but probably from the people who once were stationed there. And then he traveled north through and around a toxic lake and over and through a mountain area. And then he found himself in bandit territory. And he went through a winding canyon and emerged, through this mountainous region, and found himself coming into an ancient warship varnish wreck. And that's where we are now. We are actually deep within the belly of this warship. And he has some journeying to do and some exploration stuff that he wants to do. He's beginning to trust no one, mostly because the Kakujin that he has met have all been not that friendly so far, and those are his only sort of takes on them. And the only signs of life within this warship, and it has signs of life, are just are just like workshops and places that are covered in dust and in engineers kind of area that is just covered in unused materials and tools. And he only found a kind of weird kind of what's the word, container that had some samples of a mycomorph, which is a type of fungi folk, one of the many sentient type beings on this planet here, which Ardel does know about, but has never seen in person. So that's where we are now. We are leaving the water processing area, where he found that unfinished project, the mycomorph psychology project, whatever that was, and that didn't really that didn't evoke any sort of good feelings on his part. So mechanically, what we are here to do now is to continue on our undertaking an expedition where we are surveying a mysterious site. And the rank of this place, which I believe we did not fully establish. So I think I'm going to do that now. And because I know that it is a certain sort of size, it's a large ancient warship. So it is a massive potential Titanic ancient starship, maybe. So there's chances for him to find lots of things here. So I think I want to give this a dangerous what do you call dangerous progress bar. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark that up here. This is something that I did not have before. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All progress bars in Starforged have 10 boxes. And with a dangerous vow, we fill out 8 full ticks or 2 full boxes per progress. So we actually did cover a few things here. The workshop and the processing are successful. So I'm actually going to preemptively fill those progress bars out. So this progress bar is just to discover the entirety, or at least discover as much much of this ship as possible. So there is, right. I also forgot that we had fixed Ziva. So we have Ziva, and that is something that might come into play as well. That Ziva had short-circuited for a quote unknown reason. And we're also going to make a discovery roll somewhere in this ship, one that makes sense. So what we're going to do now is we're going to continue to undertake an expedition. And I think because of finding the mycomorph experiment station, he's going to try to stay vigilant. So he's going to roll wits with this exploration here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to roll his wits, which is 3. His wits is 3. I'm just going to move those up there. And are we doing any sort of expedition? Undertaking expedition. Hoverbike, we're not using the hoverbike. We're not outside. He's not using his firebrand ability. We're not recovering valuable knowledge for a particular vow. So we're not going to use any of our assets here. You know, when you come back to a game that you haven't played for a bit and you're excited for it, the way that my brain handles it is I just get right into it and I sort of kind of forget the flow of how the game works. So I got to remember that I am using these tables for the most part for some things. But because we are inside a ship, I am going to use the tables from Ironsworn Starforged itself, because it has a derelict section here. And I believe I used these in the last session. I can't remember. So we know that we are dealing with a derelict starship here. Yes, I write in my books, deal with it. Okay, so we are going to roll our next area, but first we're going to undertake an expedition, roll wits. And I believe what we do want is we want a strong hit here, because undertake an expedition, strong hit is going to be good. All right. Oh, an 8 and 8, and wits is a +3. So here's the thing. Oh my God! Woo! Oh, I love how this works. I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, so 5 + 3 is 8, and the only way to beat a number on the challenge dice is to exceed that number. So this does not exceed either one. And it is the same number on both challenge dice, which means that it is an opportunity or a complication. And because we missed, it's a complication. So on top of missing with undertaking an expedition, there's also going to be a complication with this. Wow, okay, cool. And I have not forgotten about this. Make a discovery roll while we're in the ship. I have not forgotten about that. This is going to be really cool, and we're going to do some really cool stuff. Okay, so his mistrust of the Kakujin and his thoughts are getting to him probably too much. And yeah, he's staying vigilant, but maybe he gets distracted from like a sound somewhere. So what I'm going to do is that on a miss, you are waylaid by a crisis or arrive at the waypoint to confront an immediate hardship or threat. Do not mark progress. So only because it makes sense narratively, he is going to arrive somewhere before something happens to him. So I am going to roll on where we're going to end up first. So let's roll. Let us roll on the derelict ships stuff here. So I had someone ask me why I mark my books like this when I can just use the table of contents. I have no good answer for you, except that this just makes the most sense to me, and I can get to things really quickly. My rule of thumb for a lot of things is I have a place for everything and everything in its place. So I have a place for everything and everything is in its place. So for me, mentally, it just fits nicely. All right, so we're going to open up to derelicts, and we're going to roll to see what sort of center that we are going to come up here. Now, if we roll into living or something like that, I know that we had rolled up that it is inhabited, which is interesting because every time that we come into a new place, I've been rolling, depending on the type of location, a likelihood of some living thing is going to be there, and it hasn't happened yet. And maybe something will here. I don't know. Let's see. All right. So we have a complication, which I'm going to try not to forget. But let's see where we end up. A 1-0. I always read the black or the darker dice first. And it was a 1 and 0, so 10. So a 10 on Starship is more engineering. So this is just a large engineering section that we've been going through. So engineering is page 86 of the reference book. I absolutely love this reference book. I'm very excited for the Sundered Isles expansion that's going to be coming my way soon. Because I backed Ironsworn Starforged originally, I'll have access to the PDF sooner rather than later. And I'm debating whether to print those out or not. But I'll get to that later. My brain is going a million miles a minute right now. I got to slow down. Take a deep breath. Drink my tea. And go. Okay. So we are rolling on engineering to see what we can find here. So we're going to roll on area and 05. So a control room of some sort. All right. Control room with, now I'm going to see, pardon me. No. Control room with what kind of feature? 19. A crane or lift. Control room with a lift. Okay, so this makes sense to me. So we have this, after seeing the water processing and the workshops, there's this centralized location that is connecting to all those others. And this control room is, because it's a control room, is the control room powered up? Because I've been looking at all this other stuff, and stuff doesn't seem to be working, but only bare minimally. I'm going to say that it is 50-50, 50 or less. 35, so yes, so it is powered up, but it's in, I'm going to see, well, no, I need to roll for an immediate crisis before he can do anything. So it is powered, but what happens? So I'm going to roll pay the price as per the rules of the missing the undertaken expedition. Do not mark progress and pay the price. So we did move along and we found a new area, but we don't mark progress. We don't fill out our progress bar for the exploration of this ship. So I'm going to roll pay the price, and I have this nice little cheat sheet card here. 42. That's 42 may not be the answer I want. The environment or terrain introduces a new hazard. Okay. So a hazard in a control room with a lift. Got it. Well, it is powered up. Oh, hi. It is powered up, and I gotta be right back. Come on. Let's go. Okay. Oh. All right. Well, life happens. And I had to step away for a second. And because I'm a Luddite, I'm just going to not edit that out at all. Okay. So we are in a lift. So we end up in a lift. And it powers up, and it's about to take us down. Or rather, we take the most obvious route from the control room, and the only other way out is this lift. And we step into the lift, and then it suddenly jerks and goes and starts to fall. So this is a face danger roll, obviously. So that is the pay the price, is that we're going to face danger. Now, we have a twist, a complication. So, I'm going to, before I roll face danger, I'm going to see if the complication, I could do, so the theme, so inhabited here, right? So we have the various, the derelict things here. 86, engineering. So there's peril. So I'm going to roll on this table here to see what sort of danger happens here in addition to the face danger. So we're going to be stacking a few things. So the lift itself is falling rapidly, and we're going to have to figure something out as a face danger roll. And then peril might add and definitely complicate things. So we got an 11. An 11 is erratic utility bots. Okay, so this sounds like we might have a situation here where there are utility bots. The utility bots. I got it. Okay, so Ardel comes down and steps down into this recessed floor space, and there are all these computer readouts and things, and there's sort of kind of, there's that low hum of a computer that's been turned on, but has been running for ages and ages. And there's just this low voo, voo, voo. And then ever so slightly, there's like a beep, 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 like tiny beep, beep noises. And that's when he turns around and gets shoved into the lift. And this lift is not what we thought. This lift is a garbage disposal. And the utility bots see Ardel as an intruder or something like that. So we have an immediate face danger plus these utility bots that have turned their kind of neutral, a blue light into this beeping red. And they raise up their like little, whirring mop bars and sweepers and squeegee things and the metal treads that are on their body, and they start attacking Ardel and pushing him into the lift. So this is when you attempt something risky or react to an imminent threat. So we're definitely facing danger. So I think what I'm going to do here is if we miss on this, we're definitely going to have to fight these bots, which will be interesting. If on a weak hit, we could either fall into the thing and not have to deal with the bots, or we don't have to deal with the lift and we have to fight the bots. And a strong hit, we'll see what happens there. Okay, so we're going to have to do this with edge, with agility and mobility and speed. We could try to do it with strength, endurance, or aggression, but I just don't think that's something that Ardel would try to do. His training and everything and the way that his brain works, he's much more about getting away from danger as opposed to grinning and bearing it. So let us roll plus edge, which is 2. Oh, you know what? He is going to use his firebrand ability for the first time in this campaign. And it says, you wield fiery energy. When you rest and meditate to gather this energy, roll plus spirit. On a strong hit, take up to 3 fire. On a weak hit, take 2. On a miss, take 2, but endure harm. But your max is plus 5. So we do have 5 at the top right now. I believe I have that marked. Yeah, at 5 fire. So we have 5 fire right now. When you make moves aided by this energy to attack or overcome obstacles, add plus 2 and suffer 1 fire. So we're going to add 2 on top of this 2. So we're going to add plus 4. So we're going to, I'm just going to write ran into utility bots Terminator. And then use fire -1. Okay, so we're going to add +2 to this, and let's see what I narrate after this roll. Ooh, +2 and +2. So thankfully, if I had not done that, if I had not used the firebrand ability to add 2, this would have been a miss. Now, my momentum is, it's still only down to, it's only at +1 right now. That kind of sucks. But we have a situation here where because of the firebrand ability and his innate, he taps into the nanomachines, and from his hand comes a red hot flaming like plasma ball of energy, and he goes and very much like an anime fireball out from his hand, this bluish green sort of kind of turquoise fire shoves out of his hand and into one of the bots. And a weak hit on this face danger roll is you succeed, but not without a cost. Make a suffer move. So something tells me that he dealt with being pushed into the lift completely, and he dealt with one of the bots with the firebrand. So now we're going to roll a suffer move because of the weak hit, and I believe it makes sense that we are going to endure harm here. When you face physical injury, fatigue, or illness, suffer -1 health for minor harm, -2 for serious harm. Now, because this was a complication, I'm going to say that they could have done 2 harm total because there was 2 of them. But now there's only 1 because of the firebrand. His fireball took care of one of them. He has sort of leveled the playing field, so he's going to take 1 harm. So he's going to go from 2 down to 1. And I also know about the, what's it called? These things. These things are great in general, but this paper that I'm using this on kind of sucks. And it is why that on my Ironsworn campaign, I've actually put the character sheet on a piece of cardboard so that it can slide up and down a little bit easier. I might do that for this, but for right now, I don't mind. I don't mind writing and erasing and stuff. It doesn't really bother me. But Ardel's health is fairly low. That kind of sucks. So he gets like side struck by one of these bots, and it's like broom handle is smacked upside the head just as the fireball hits the bot's companion or its other sort of follow-up bot. And because of that, I think he is going to shake it off. If your health is 0 to lose, then if your health is 0, or you choose to resist the harm, roll plus health, or plus iron. So he could roll. I think I am going to, just because I haven't really utilized the suffer moves all that much in my Ironsworn games before. So I am going to roll on this. I could choose to just keep the hit and keep moving, but I kind of want to sink my teeth into it a little bit more. So I have an option here that if I have a strong hit on this, I can shake it off and take 1 health. Or I can embrace the pain, keep the health, and add more momentum, which is kind of what I want to do. So Ardel wants to try to use that momentum of being pushed around by the broom handle and come around and smack him and do something more. We got a 3 and a 5 on the challenge dice, and a 5 plus his health is 1, which makes it a 6. So it's a strong hit. I am going to embrace the pain. Take +1 momentum. So now we're up to 2. Now we're up to 2 momentum. And here's the thing. We're definitely going to be fighting here. But as it stands, I have quite a few progress bars going on right now. I have the journey to the journey to the settlement, which is the northern part of the Cerulean Maw. That's where Ardel is heading. I also have the exploration of this current waypoint, the warship. And I know I could add like a troublesome combat, no problem. But I feel like this could be dealt with a single roll. So what's going to happen here? I need to figure a better layout for this. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the combat moves here. And so I'm going to say that there is a battle, right? When you fight a battle and it happens in a blur, envision your objective and roll. So this is a way of just doing a single combat in one roll. It's a make or break type of thing, or in like a low stakes kind of thing. It's just to get the battle out of the way. And right now he's just fighting this little, this like utility bot that's gone all red on him. And he just wants to move, like take care of it, and then assess the room itself. Okay, so he wants to fight at range or use your speed and the environment to your advantage. He can roll edge. He can fight depending on your courage, leadership, or companions. Roll heart. I don't think he's going to rely on his protocol bot at all. Fight in close to overcome your foe. Roll iron. He's not really a melee guy. Use trickery to befuddle your foe. He's not that kind of cunning type of person. Fight using careful tactics to outsmart your foes. So it's between wits and edge. Speed and the environment, or outsmart your foe tactics. I think in terms of the way that this situation came about, I think he is going to just do at range, even though he has a 3 in wits and only a 2 in edge. But he's going to fight at range, and he's going to use his firebrand ability. So he's going to lose another fire. So fire at 3 now. So I'm just going to mark off 2. This is his firebrand ability. Okay. Firebrand. Okay, here we go. Firebrand is at 3 now. So he's going to kind of power up another one of those bluish hued fireballs. He's going to jump up onto a console and duck behind and sort of like pulse his hand out toward the protocol bot. And this is just a battle, and we'll see how it goes. Roll edge. Ooh, yuck. A 10 and a 9. And even though he's got +4, an 8. This is a miss. This is a brutal, brutal battle. So, on a miss, you are defeated, or the objective is lost. Pay the price. Okay, so I'm going to say that defeat here is that there has been some exchanges of the firebrand stuff. He's shooting it out, and thematically he's doing this a few times, right? And your protocol bot for some reason just knows how to avoid that kind of energy for some reason, and is able to get his other companion back up. So now it's both of them. And they're utility bots. They're not combat bots. So they somehow corner Ardel back on that lift space. And then he is effectively pushed into that in that space with no way out, and he has to go down the garbage chute type of place, and the lift that looked like it, like an elevator at some point, just drops underneath his feet, and the protocol bots, the last thing he hears is like a beeping, and then the red light that he sees from looking up the long, now quickly narrowing view, it turns from red to back to blue. So whatever they were doing, they were successful, and now he is falling deeper into the belly of this ship. So he's gonna fall and he's gonna land somewhere else. So I'm going to roll a few things here. He's definitely going to endure harm, and I think this fall is pretty big. He is at zero health. The thing about being at zero is that he could be wounded here. So I'm going to double check on the suffer moves here. Is that endure harm? If your health is at 0, lose momentum equal to any remaining harm, which was 1 more. So he was going to take 2 damage, and so he got from 1 to 0 is 1, and then I need to lose another momentum, which makes sense. Momentum is... I love how the system is so fluid. It makes sense. Everything is just so cool. Okay. Then, if your health is 0, which it is, I'm going to roll health or iron, whichever is higher. So iron is 1. So this is where iron is helpful. If you are at low health, your character could come back easily, but it's only +1 here. And there's no way that he could... He has no sense of where he is. Right now it's dark, and it's a little smelly, but that's all he can tell. But he just took a lot of damage. And nope. He got a weak hit, though. So he got a 9. So the 2 and his 5 + 1 is 6 is right in between these two. So that's a weak hit. And a weak hit, if you're not wounded, which is great, you may lose momentum in exchange for health. Otherwise, press on. On a miss, it's worse than you thought, blah, blah, blah. Okay. On a miss, so here's the thing. On a miss... If your health is at 0, then you mark wounded. So because it's a weak hit, if you're not wounded, you may lose momentum. So thankfully, even though we're at 0 health, because it was a weak hit, we don't need to mark wounded. That's cool. So I am going to lose more momentum just to bring me back up to 1. Just so I can keep Ardel just kicking a little bit. I'm not worried about his overall survivability here. The situation hasn't really sold me on its life or death. I would really hate to lose him so soon after starting. But thankfully, the wonderful thing about Starforged and Ironsworn is that I have complete control of how the narrative treats my character and how the dangers of Vaarn will do damage to him. So thankfully, I'm not worried about him dying right yet because I don't think narratively it would be great. Way to die is being shunted into a garbage chute from some utility bots. But those utility bots are something that he'll have to keep a note of. So utility bots are going to be the first sort of enemies that he's had to deal with that aren't natural, which is interesting. So now we got to roll where we are. Where did we end up? Now, this was a garbage chute, but maybe it wasn't always a garbage chute. It just looked like one. Maybe this was where they dumped... Oh, I just had a thought. Bear with me. Bear with me. This is how I roll, guys. This is how I roll. Okay. So, remember way back some ramble time ago, I had said that this place does have life. We did roll that it had life in it last episode. This time, he has run into nothing but, nothing, and then all of a sudden these utility bots that are active, but they're turned. They're not. Their programming or their AI has gone haywire. Interestingly enough, Ziva, his protocol bot that is embedded itself into his eyebrow and his temple, also went haywire and short-circuited. I'm sensing a theme here. But more on that later. That is interesting. I want to touch base on that down the road if that comes back up. But for this particular ship, this ancient warship, I'm going to ask the Oracle, are there more bodies around where Ardel fell? So, I'm gonna ask the Oracle, and I'm going just because I have not seen any actual signs of life outside of the protocol bots. I have an idea that they might have been cleaning house, so to speak. So I'm going to say that this is unlikely that there are bodies around, but if it is, then holy crap. All right, so 25 or less. 62, so no. So there are scraps of other pieces of the ship. There is like a notepad that has been just worn down and you can't read any of the pages. He picks it up and it turns to dust in his hand. There's like old cloth and like pieces of like organic material that have like decomposed. So this is definitely a spot where the utility bots have been pushing things down that chute. A repurposed lift, if you will. So where are we though? Let us roll on the derelict table again. Now, this is like the underbelly of it all. So I'm going to roll on this table again to see what we got. All right, let's see here. Ooh. 41. Living space. Okay, 87. You're right. So 87, living space. Okay, so let's roll the area in which that we are in. So he is probably pushed into, or he sees that this is a small area, and he sees like a small opening or like a doorway or a hatch, and he pushes it open into this new space. 16, galley or a kitchen. Okay, so this new space is a galley or a kitchen. All right, I'm just gonna write galley with, and I'm gonna roll the feature. 37. Half-eaten food. Okay, ooh, with half-eaten food, that implies that there definitely are people around. Okay, so he sees that, and he goes, there are beings here. Now this is his first real concrete piece of evidence that there are people here. So he is going to take a moment here, and he is going to look around and try to gather some information. I mean, that makes the most sense. I think he wants to because this space is not because he moved on. He still has yet to make a new undertake expedition roll. This is just finding a new space because he was pushed there. So let him gather information about this space. And when you search for clues, conduct an investigation, analyze evidence, or do research, roll wits. So we're going to roll wits here, +3. We're not in any sort of situation where any of his things will help him now. 6 + 3, 9. Yes, so we got a strong hit. Oh man, Ardel, baby. Yes, we needed that. All right. Let's switch to this one because it's blue. Okay, gallery with half-eaten food, and he rolled wits. Strong hit. You discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is clear. Envision what you learn, then take +2 momentum. Again, I always mark my momentum first. And let's go up to 2. That's great. And so the path you must follow or action you must take is clear. So that means that he finds a way out. And he knows where he needs to go to continue exploring to make the next undertake an expedition roll. But right now, he's in this space and he finds something specific. So something helpful and specific. So I'm actually going to roll something from this book, which we haven't done yet this particular session. So I wanted to roll on things you find in the sand. There is what you find in the sand. So these are like interesting things. So what I'm going to do is, depending on this roll here, I'm going to apply a narrative hook that this particular thing is extremely helpful for whatever purpose. I don't know what that might be, but we will see what happens here. All right, so let's roll. This is a D100 table. Oh, the art in this book is just so cool. I love it. It's so weirdly wonderful. All right, so we got a 9. Steel flask of tea. Okay, so we find a steel flask of tea. Now, we are in a galley with food, and there's also tea here. I am going to mark that on my little notes here. Found a flask full of tea. So flask full of tea is an important item. I think that he does not know that right now. But I think if anyone here sees it, it might be important. I have an idea that it might be for a good use. Like, I think it might be important for the dwellers of this place to have this tea. And because it's in this flask and it's full of tea, it feels important. Also, tea. Delicious. Okay, so he has this a flask. He grabs a little bit of food. He starts to eat a little bit. He doesn't really want to sit still as much as he would like to rest and heal or scavenge. He's pretty well supplied up. His spirit's not doing great. He doesn't have a lot of momentum, but things are happening, and I love this game for it. Okay, next step is he's going to undertake an expedition. So hopefully we can mark some more progress on here. All right, what is the next area that we run into? But let's see. We're going to, as much as he wants to keep under the radar, he's going to stay vigilant. He's going to walk around and just look and keep his wits about him, so to speak. So we're going to roll wits here, +3. Oh, no. So thankfully I got a 4 on that. So it's a weak hit. On a weak hit, as above, which is you reach a waypoint, and we mark progress per the rank, but it costs us. So again, I always mark things first. All right, so we mark progress. It suffers, so we suffer a -2 or 2 -1s for our suffer moves, or face a peril at the waypoint. Envision what you encounter. Only because narratively I enjoy showing up to a thing and reacting to that thing. And because it's a peril, we know that we're going to eventually have to lose some of these things. I like to know. I like to build the encounter as I go. I don't like to, narrate the reasons why we lost spirit or health or something like that without context. So I think I'm gonna have Ardel show up again in a new location, and we are going to roll on the next section. But because we are in the galley, I'm going to say that we're going to roll on the theme here, location themes, and we're going to roll on just the inhabited. People have built a community in this place. So we're going to roll on just this area here. What is this? Oh, yeah, that was for that. Okay. Where is Sacred Inhabited? Here we go. Let us roll. 25. So we come up with emergency teams responding to an incident or a crisis. So that's what's happening here. So that's already an interesting thing that's happening. Let us roll to see what it sort of looks like. Again, let's roll on the living section because I want community. Yep. Let's roll on the area here. 24. Laundry. Okay, all right, laundry rooms. And so, emergency team arriving on scene. Now, here's the thing. This was a weak hit, which means that not all things are going well for us. Ardel shows up, and at first he sees an obvious sort of he sees the overall feel of the scene. He sees the blinking lights on the helmets of these beings. He sees a stretcher. He sees a someone yelling to get out of the way, but then he takes a moment and he looks. And this is where I'm actually going to I'm going to roll to see what kind of people are here. And this is going to be my own thing. If they are true kin, then this will be interesting. I almost want to just roll on the Oracle and ask and have it be likely, 75 or less, if it's true kin. But I believe during character creation, when you roll as like a potential character for NPCs, yep. Come on. Oh, come on. Where'd it go? NPCs. Right. Here we go. So on a D20 of the 5 types of creatures that live and are sentient on Vaarn, Truekin are 25%. Kakojin are also 25%. New Beast are all the animal creatures are also 25%. And Synth is like 20% or 15%, whatever. And Mycomorph is the other 5. So this is technically, I want this to be like half. So, in fact, I think instead of rolling on this table, which is what I was intending to do, I think I am going to just ask the Oracle, are these truekin? Are these human? As in, like, unadulterated humans. I'm going to say this is likely 75 or less. So if it's 75 or less, they are definitely humans. 50. So yes, these are humans who are showing up. And because they're humans and because they've been in this place hermetically sealed, remember we had to have Ardel kind of cut his way into the place. It was a sealed ship that looked deserted from the outside, but in fact there is things going on in here, a la a vault type of situation. So he shows up and this team is actually arriving for him. He does not look great. Remember, his health is low. And I'm gonna say, I almost said I'm gonna rule, but I'm gonna say that he's not facing danger here. What he is going to be doing is, I think he's just going to be rolling on, oops. This is what I get for folding the page. There we go. I think he's just going to, I think he's going to make a discovery here. And I think this discovery, I want to roll here because I love rolling, but I also want to have it tied into his overarching background vow thing. Just because I like the idea that he's trying to get off of this planet, but he needs more of a sort of a feel for, like, more evidence to back his sort of weird conspiracy theory that there were spaceships back in the day. So I'm going to do a few things kind of in quick succession. I'm going to make a discovery. I'm also going to roll for his reaction to he's going to compel these people. But the likely is they are truekin. They're a lot. They look like him, but do they speak the same language as him and his planet side kin? Right, and that's kind of the thing. So I'm going to roll the discovery first, and that's going to help me decide how I'm going to roll on the compel. So let us roll the make a discovery roll here. Oh no, it came undone. That's the only thing about when you fold it down. You gotta tuck it back in again. Okay, let's make a discovery. 55. 55. So anytime that it's the same number, something interesting always happens for me. I love it when it's the same number. It doesn't have to be that way in every table and everything like that, but the Oracle rolls, the action rolls, and the challenge dice rolls, but even the table rolls, I find it interesting. So 55 for here is monumental architecture or artistry of an ancient civilization. Yes! Oh my God, that can't be too perfect. That is just too GD perfect, guys. Okay. Slow down. Breathe, Jeremiah. Breathe. Okay, so we have something mild. So here's the thing. I'm immediately going to mark 2 ticks on your Discovery's legacy track because, again, I need to mark things before I do stuff. And what this means to Ardel. So he is whisked away very quick, like, without really noticing, and he's slow to sort of kind of gather himself, and, you know, he's trying to hold himself up and he's he's actually holding his stomach a bit, and maybe it was the heavy eaten food that was causing him some pain or something like that. But they strap him down into the the stretcher, and they whisk him away, and he sort of fades out. Remember, he's not doing so hot, and he kind of fades to black, right? And we get this kind of cinematic sort of time lapse of him coming to consciousness, and lights are going by his vision, and he wakes up for one brief second. He looks over to the side, and he sees this kind of glass dome of a corridor that he's going through with fluorescent lights that are over his head. And he sees this monumental architecture of an ancient civilization. He doesn't know that it's ancient, but he definitely knows that it's inhabited. Through the glass that he's going through is this massive kind of open space, definitely underground, definitely still within this ship. But it is this massive open sort of space with small kind of pods on the walls. And then he fades out. And he fades back in again. And just as he is about to try to kind of pass, he's trying to encourage, and he's trying to talk and persuade someone to give him any information. This is where I'm going to say that this is where he finds out a piece of information for his background, vow or not. Oh, 4 plus his heart is 2 is 6. A weak hit. Ooh, on a weak hit for a compel. They'll do what you want or agree to your conditions. Take +1 momentum, but their agreement comes with a demand or complication. So, I'm going to narratively say that he gains that momentum because he is trying to explain to these humans, these Trukin that look like him, but he can't speak their language for some reason, and they don't speak his. And they have him tied up on a medical bed, and they put a mask over his face, and he's kind of trying to resist, but nothing about their demeanor spells malicious or anything. But it's still a situation where Ardel feels uncomfortable. And then he falls asleep peacefully into a kind of in-between half asleep, half awake place, and he kind of sees people walking in and out of this brightly lit room. And he's vaguely holding on to the idea that he's talking out loud, but obviously no words are coming from his mouth. He's dreaming. He's not awake. He's not in control. He tries to move his hands in to make his fire, but nothing's happening. He's trying to get up, but he's not moving his body. What will Ardel do now? What happens next? Well, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. I definitely went over a little bit there, but wow, that was quite the turn of events there. So I'm gonna say that Ardel ended up in a medical facility deep within The ancient warship. And I'm going to say in huge question marks, right? Is this from outer space? Question mark, question mark. And with that, just before I forget, I am going to mark 1 tick on his background vow of something is out there, got to find a way off this rock to the stars. So I don't know how this is going to be filled out. I only love the idea that Ardel wants to leave, and because Starforged is mostly about traipsing around in the forge in space and going from sector to sector, planet to planet. But I've turned it into this, this planet side excursion that starts on the planet. And I am loving this so much. But with that, folks, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I'm going to continue recording here, but I'm going to have to cut the episode here. And apologies for earlier. There's a little bit of dead space, but hey, life happens. And anyone who plays solo and plays stuff knows that they have to stop and start and everything like that. But I really enjoyed myself today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But until next time, I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.